And now at 101.9 FM, WLLV, streaming live at WLLVonline.com.
This is a PSA program sponsored and paid for by Boys of Color Rise with no one other than Mr. Steve Shaw.
You gotta be focused to build a better tomorrow. The future's golden. You gotta learn to have patience. Everything will come in time. Now young black man rise. Young black man rise. You gotta be outspoken. You gotta be focused to build a better tomorrow. The future's golden.
Well, hello. It is nice to hear from everyone today. My name is Steve Shaw. I'm the president and CEO of Boys of Color Rise. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to do some questions from one of my directors, specifically asking me some questions about Boys of Color Rise. We'll go ahead and get started with that. Welcome, Danita. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Can you tell us a little bit more about the program?
A little bit more about the program. Actually, the program, Boys of Color Rise, is mentoring boys ages 10 to 14. That is 5th grade to the 9th grade. And the reason I chose those grades is we actually probably need them in the 2nd grade. They are right now making prisons for our young men because of the way they're acting and things that they're doing. So what we're focusing on is making sure that we're teaching our kids properly. And then the more volunteers we get, the more ages we can drop down, and then we can just start helping Louisville. All this crime, I just heard about one today, a death off Cypress. It's every day.
Wow.
We got to stop that. Okay?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a wonderful program. And before we get more into it, though, I would like to just ask you a question about, a little bit about you. Could you tell us a little bit about you?
Well, of course I can do that. Thank you for asking. Well, again, Steve Shaw, born and raised right here in Louisville, Kentucky. I actually went to the University of Louisville where I graduated from. But previously, even before that, my heyday was Iroquois High School. A lot of y'all might know that or you may not. But I went there and I decided that growing up in the West End, Carter Homes, Building 39 and Building 9. So I'm from the hood, as you can say. Loved it. Had a great experience. Was not one of those kids that got in a lot of trouble. I will say that. Talking to friends, they might say, yes, you did. But I didn't get in trouble. I'm the type of person that if you tell me that's quicksand, I'm going to believe it. I don't have to go test it. And I know a lot of people want to go test the quicksand, but I want to be here to see you not get out. So before we even get off into all that, Steve Shaw, I live in Louisville now. I spent 21 years in Dallas, Texas. Yes, I am a Cowboy fan. Go Cowboys. Yeah. Hey, if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing.
Yeah. There you
Don't
go.
hate the player.
Down.
Hate the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So,
right.
but I
Cowgirls.
decided that, growing up, I've known since I was 5 years old that I had this gift with kids. And we can get in a room and talk about things, and I can bring out the best in them. I'll give you a quick scenario. I took my pastor's daughter, she was in the 8th grade, she played basketball. And they were in the 4th quarter, they were down by 20 points. I decided, hey, let me go coach them. Well, with 7 seconds left to go in the game, they down by 1 point, we got the ball. I told her, don't shoot yet, she shot, we lost by 1. Everybody in the gym lady said, you want to coach the team? No, I didn't want to do that. But I do want to coach and mentor Boys of Color Rise. That's where we're headed at.
So let me ask you this. How did you even come up with this program? I mean, did you wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm going to start a youth program? Or, when did it hit you? How did you, get that urge to start this
Right.
Boys of Color Rise?
Well, funny you should ask. As a little boy, I was told I was going to be the next Martin Luther King. I was a small boy. And I went to Texas, and I met a white man. And he said, yeah, that's good. You want to be the next Martin Luther King. But most of them people, they die. And I had just had my daughter, and I was like, nah, I won't do that. So one day I was at home, and I was going to JCC, and me and God was having a talk. And this thing came about, he birthed in me mentoring kids, because I love the kids. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do that. And I made a promise to God. God, when I graduate in 2017, I'm gonna do this. 2017 came, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. And then God said, Steve, maybe you forgot, but I didn't. I told you that I needed you to do something. And it's funny, I said, well, God, like Moses, I don't think I'm the one. He said, I tell you what, just like Moses, I'm gonna help you out. So then he started bringing people to me. Hey, so it's not nothing that I need to do. I just got to do what God said do and stop worrying about the rest. And he'll make it all happen.
I
saw that's how it came about.
I saw that for myself.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, look at all these people coming to him. He ain't got to go out for nothing. I mean, they was just coming. He would say, well, I need this person to help me. And then here comes a person. And then, I mean, they would come to him and say, Steve, you know what? I wish I had a program that I can get in. I mean, how does that happen?
It's amazing.
You didn't even ask. They would just
come. That's how God is. God makes a way out of no way. So I can't get the glory. You got to give it to God. Because it's not nothing I did. I mean, you and all of your greatness, you've been my sister all my life. But I would have never thought, hey, Danita, my best friend, Mustafa, I haven't seen him in 30 years. Hey, Steve, I did this same program in 98. I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
So they're just coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, God, I'm listening now. Now I'm listening.
Yeah.
So you have to be obedient.
So you were also with the Boy Scouts of America.
Yes.
And
so my Sunday school teacher, Robert Thomas, told me when I graduated school, he's like, Steve, man, I got something you really would love. You love kids. You need to come to the Boy Scouts. So I would go to the Boy Scouts and they said, well, Steve, we only have room for a program specialist, where I would go to the community centers and start scouting. And within 3 months, they're like, no, Steve, we need you to come on board with us. Made me the district executive. A couple of years later, now we need to come on board with us. And then, last but not least, I was the outreach director in Cincinnati. So 6 years of Boy Scouts, learning the ins and outs of who, what, when, why, and how with youth. A lot of fun doing that.
Great. So how often did you meet with the troops?
So in scouting, you meet weekly. They have Cub Scouts, which is K through 5th grade, and now Scouts BSA, which is 6th through 12th grade. And you meet once a week, and you plan out the program, and they would plan it out for the year. You know, they wanted to make sure everybody knew what was going on, because sometimes parents get busy. And you want to say, okay, well, I can make this event or I can't make that one, and that's fine. We just want to make sure that as we're planning out the schedule, you don't miss too many times, because then you'll miss out on something. And just like with anything you want in life, anything you put your heart into, you become that. So if you spend a lot of time with Boys of Color Rise, you're going to get the mentoring that you need to help raise our youth, our community, and better lifestyles for everyone.
Okay, and about how long did y'all meet when you met up? How long was that session?
Well, most meetings are for 1 hour.
1 hour?
1 hour a week.
A week.
And just like we used to tell, there's an old funny joke to say, oh man, I just need you to volunteer for 1 hour. 1 hour turns into a week turns into months turns, next thing you know, you're doing this thing every day. Because it becomes a part of you. And the big thing about it is, when you're helping raise your child, it's not work. It's what you do.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we want to give our kids to somebody, hey, you do this, you do that. I'm the type of person, I don't mind helping you raise your child. But if you see your child having fun, don't you want to be a part of that?
Yeah.
And that's what we're all about, just being a part, helping mentor the kids. And for me, 80% of the women are doing all the work. We don't have the men. I just left a meeting with Roots 101. There were a lot of men there. And that's what we need. We need to understand that, yeah, a woman could raise a boy, but if a man raised a boy, you'll be less likely to have as much trouble as we do. Because the Bible says, spread a rod, spoil a child. You know, some women, I don't want to whoop my child because I got whooped. Somebody told me, beat him. No, don't beat your children. Don't beat your children.
I think we were abused when we were children. I do.
I
I mean,
was drugged here, drugged there, do this, do that. Yes, I was drugged everywhere I went.
anytime you were told to go out and get the weapon
That's gonna beat you.
that's going to beat you, that we were abused.
Hey, but you know what? You learned to bring the right weapon, and you didn't go get the wrong one because you got to go back again. Been there, done that. I did get a whooping. I can remember. I did get one. That's all it took for me was one whooping.
Okay, so going back to the program, you said on your last show that this Boys of Color Rise program is in how many community centers?
It's in 5 community centers. We're going to have them in Newburgh, Park Hill, Southwick, South Louisville, and Shawnee. They will be from 5:30 to 6:30, and each one of them has a certain day, so they're not going to be every day for them.
And I noticed your meeting at Newburgh. There was a few people that knew you already.
Oh yeah, I actually started scouting at Newburgh, and the funny thing about that was Newburgh Middle School actually had the only scouting program in the school itself. So there was a teacher there that when school let out, he ran scouting. So by us going to Newburgh Community Center, we would get the kids from there. Boys and Girls Club would come over, then they leave us and go back over there. So it's a circular thing, and that's what we're saying. We need to just get the kids, help them see better and do better, because we all make mistakes, but we want to be able to come back from some of those mistakes. Don't make it the worst mistake ever.
I like the way you talk with the kids because you were disciplining them, and I was like, but they were laughing, and you made them laugh. I like that when you do your power of
influence.
What is it? Influence. Whatever.
Well, basically, it's like this, and I will never tell a parent how to raise their child, but I will say, I don't believe that I need to yell and scream at your kid, because you do it enough that it's oblivious. They don't even hear it. So what I try to do is interject reverse psychology. And I learned this many, many years ago. I can tell you to do something in more than one way. Now, the first way might not work. The second way will be more encouraging. But the third way is either or. You remember when your mama used to look at you, give you that look? She didn't have to open her mouth.
That's right.
Nowadays, the parents just yelling, screaming. They don't hear it. So now, all you do is give them that look. Because that look means, look here, 1, I know you can do better. But 2, come on now, that's not even in you.
Yeah.
But if we don't express that to our kids and get them to understand, hey, don't just go out and, I saw a kid take a bag, trash, and throw it out of the car. He just had some restaurant food. Not only, bad host. But in the West End, we need to pick up trash. And if people see you picking up your trash, then they're going to pick up trash.
Yeah.
But we do stuff like that because nobody cares.
Yeah.
We got to show love and compassion for one another. And I think that's what I do. I try to show kids that I know it's rough, but trust me, this too shall pass.
Yeah. I noticed that when I would pick up trash around my neighborhood, there were some teens that it was summertime, and they were sitting out there. And a lady yelled out the door. A teen dropped a piece of paper, and a lady yelled out the door. Now, they've been seeing me doing this ever since I moved into the neighborhood, And I didn't think, I'm like you. Nobody cares, But a lady yelled out, "We don't throw trash around here."
It's a mindset.
I was like, you used to. But yeah, I was proud to see that they were taking notice and also taking pride in their neighborhood.
Because see, when people see you do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, then they want to do it. Just like a child. A child wants to be taught. Believe it or not.
Yeah, they do.
They want to be taught.
That's a scientific, the research fact is that kids are hardwired for discipline.
Amen.
They're hardwired for discipline.
But we're so busy doing work, doing this, we don't even have time to discipline our kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Boys of Color Rise, we will not only discipline your child, we're going to help your child see the value in discipline.
But again, I like the way that you you discipline,
Thank you.
but they think it's a joke, but they still do it, and they still have respect for you. And I was like, did that just happen? I just knew the kid was just gonna get, but they was like, yes, Mr. Steve. Okay.
And that's the thing. I started off the meeting with calling them young man because I want them to understand. You can say, like I said last week, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. We've gotten away from that because Big Mama's gone, but we're going to bring it back because there's nothing wrong with you respecting me. You want me to respect you.
Yes.
It's a give and take.
Yes.
And then once you get to that fine line, you got to decide.
I like that. You gave them respect and they gave it right back to you.
Amen.
And
Amen.
I think that's the way the teens are these days. You know, give me respect, I'll give you respect. Because coming up through the baby boomers times, or the kid, not the baby boomers times, but the kids having kids time, the respect was just out the window. And
Right.
I think it's because the young parents were still trying to sow their oats. So they didn't have that time to deal with, respectability,
Right.
and you give me respect, I'll give you respect. They were so busy trying to be the kid's friend and going to the club with the kid.
With their friends and their kids. Yeah.
With the kid, yeah.
You see a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old in the club and they mama and daughter.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Do you think I could have went somewhere with my mama or my dad? I can't see it. I just can't see it. But I digress.
Okay, so I'm going to take this time out to say hi to Facebook Live folks, Janice Baldwin Gutter and Angela Gibbs, and who was that? Dolores. Hey, Dolores. So, going back to the centers, is there any particular reason why you chose these 5 centers?
Yes.
Or just 5 centers, period?
Well, because if I'm going to do one a day, it's only one of me and maybe my other guy, Sam.
So
I can
5
only do
days,
5.
5 days in the week.
Yeah, Lord. Even Jesus took a rest. Hey, man, I need rest.
God took a rest.
So the reason I chose these, and these were not the only ones. There were others that I wanted, but for whatever reason, I could not get them. But at Park Hill, because I grew up over in Algonquin side, Newburgh, because I did scouting there, and I'm trying to get them in places where Southwick, South Louisville, and Shawnee that house a lot of African American kids.
Okay.
Because our problem is, again, we may get one person to make it out, and that's great. But if we worked on getting everybody out, that's better. Because at the end of the day, each and every kid should have the ability to live, grow, and succeed. Now, it doesn't always happen that way, but just think about it. If you're a child, and I'm not even talking about the one that's going to make it in sports, but if your child saw that, okay, I can do this, I can be that, and believed it, if you can achieve something, you can believe it, it's conceivable. But we don't even give our kids that chance. We just say, oh, go out and do. I'm going to give them things to do. I'm going to teach them how to be successful. Again, as last week, most of us don't even know what a checkbook is because we just use credit cards all the time. But I want to teach them what money looks like, feels like, and what you can do when you have money. And if you got a good credit score like mine, you can do some great things. And I'm going to teach your kid, if you get an 850 credit score, you can move mountains.
Yeah. A lot of people, they don't know about that.
We haven't done it.
What do you call that? Money without money. I mean, it's not money, but it's money.
Hey.
And a friend of mine said that they only pay for cash. They pay everything with cash. I said, you're un-American. You don't have no credit. And they couldn't figure out why they couldn't get anything on credit,
right.
Or even get a credit card. I said, because you have no credit.
But did you know?
It takes credit to get credit.
Right, because if you don't have credit, it's worse than having bad credit.
Yes, it is.
So
yes,
you got to have a little credit. And I know some of these parents done mess their kids' credit. They done use their social, and now they try to get it. Oh, well, back in 1902.
All that could be fixed. All that could be fixed.
Very easily.
And so that's what you teach the kids.
I'm going to teach them. We're going to teach them from A to Z. And then we're going to open it up. I'm going to love those rap sessions we're going to have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that all the things that a child would say, because they'll be honest. Steve, I need to know this.
Out of the
And
mouths of babes.
honest. Look at that. We're going to be honest.
Okay. So you also said that at each center, the program can only accept a certain quota of young men. Can you explain that?
So right now, the quota is 10 kids at each center. So if it's 5 centers times 10, that's 50. That's easy math. Now, can we take more? Yes. The more volunteers we can get, the more we can take. Because again, this Steve and Sam. We don't want to put everything on Steve and Sam. It is not impossible, but with God, all things are possible. So for every volunteer I find, we'll add 5 or 10 kids. So that's just a number I came up with that I thought was easy, because I know sometimes I want to go home and I don't want to take this stress to my wife. So I want to make sure it's simple. Kids, keep it simple, Steve.
Right. So in the Boy Scouts, about how many scouts, what is the largest amount of scouts that you handled at one time?
Well, I had what's called the Pinewood Derby, and I had over 100 kids.
Oh, my goodness.
But mind you, it wasn't just me. We had a group of people. But if you just talk about myself, when I was at Newburgh Community Center and it was just me in scouting, I had about 10 to 12 kids.
Okay. All right. But in the Pinewood Derby.
Oh, everybody wants to win the Pinewood Derby race. So every kid from kindergarten through the 5th grade came for that.
Okay.
And there's over 100 kids, but trust me.
So how did they split you guys? I mean, you were over how many? This person was over.
I was over the whole event. I made sure I had volunteers that helped. So that's the difference. I believe a great supervisor learns to manage people. Help. I need help here. So I don't have to serve the food, race the cars, and do all that. I'm just there to make sure if there's a problem. Just like when you come to this center, we want to make sure we have enough kids where they feel comfortable and they don't feel threatened.
Okay. And again, you're looking for what age group?
We're looking right now for ages 10 to 14, grades 5th through 9th grade. So it's more like the middle school with just getting past that 5th grade, which is still elementary. But yeah, 10 to 14, grades 5th through 9th.
And why'd you choose that particular age group? Is it like a donut hole that somebody's not feeling?
It's worse than a donut hole. You will find at every anybody 16 to 24, there are numerous of organizations, nonprofits that are willing to help you once you get in the system. So I chose this age group because I want to get the kids before they get in the system. I know I need them in the 2nd grade because there are plenty of penitentiaries for our kids now. But right now, because of attention span and because I just think that donut hole where kids are being missed, 5th through 9th grade, 10 to 14. If we can get them there, by the time they're 15 or 16, maybe they're not in trouble anymore. Maybe we run some of those nonprofits where we don't need them. But it's just good thinking, I think.
Well, I know my grandson, when he was leaving elementary and going into middle school, everybody was sending me condolences. Condolences. I'm like, well, what's going to happen?
Is it that bad?
What's wrong with middle school? And so I, panicked and sent him to private school.
and everybody can't do that. So that's the thing. Because, no matter what school you go to, there's always going to probably be like a bully, somebody bigger, taller, heavier. And you got to take all that in. And as a child, that's hard to do. And so when your kid comes home and say, hey, Mom, this is what's happening, you got to listen so that we don't miss out on anything that's going on. And that's what our rap sessions are going to do. We're going to be learning what's going on in the schools and why this is going on and why that's going on so that we can help these kids be better youth.
Yeah, because, trying to get stuff out of my grandbaby boy, it was like pulling tooth.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that they don't like to talk about?
I think a lot of it has to do with trust. It's not that he don't trust you, but it's a trust factor. Or you have those people, well, if I tell on somebody, no, we're going to talk about bullying. I don't think any kid needs to be bullied. I think every child should have the right to go to school and learn. And anything that happens in between, you can talk about. But we're not talking. So we're going to open up in the rap sessions. Hey, what's on your mind? Hey, how do you feel? What's good? What's bad?
So do you think that boys will relate better to men?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because, you know, you're always going to be his, what does he call you?
Memo.
See, you're going to be his mamo. I'm going to be the mentor. Huge difference. I can talk to a mentor, but I can't tell mamo. You see the difference? And then that engaging that the mentor can do, that we can bring out those things, it's going to be huge in his life.
Well, I know that my son kept complimenting you and saying, if it wasn't for you, Uncle Steve, if it wasn't for you, Uncle Steve, you know.
Well,
I'm like, okay.
Kudos to your son, Troy Mitchell. And the good thing about him is he's doing great now.
Yeah.
Has his own business, doing great. So that's what we want to, if we can just touch a child and help change their thinking, because that's all it is. It's left side thinking, right side thinking. And we want them to think wholeheartedly on both sides and give them that thought.
Okay, so how much time will be spent on the Boys of Color Rise participants?
You have, every kid in the program will have my cell number. Every kid in the program, even though they get the 5:30 to 6:30, you know, if you're going through something, I can remember right now, I had a young fella call me, and this was many years ago. Mr. Shaw, I'm in trouble. Well, I'm going to go to that child, because that's what we're missing too. Yeah. They don't have anyone to call on when you're in trouble.
Okay, all right.
So I want to be able to be that go-between, that conduit. I got a lot of police officers' numbers in my phone. I might have to call one of them to go help them too. But we want to be able to help these kids help themselves. Okay,
so just like the Boy Scouts, are you going to be meeting weekly or monthly or daily?
We're going to meet weekly at each center, and then we're going to have events. And those events will probably be on the weekend. And it may be depending on the age. If you're 15, we may go somewhere where we wouldn't take a 10-year-old, maybe to school or college, because a 10-year-old, he's not there yet. Doesn't mean that they say, well, you know, Mr. Shaw, I want to go. They can't, because we want everybody to be able to learn and engage in the way that they see fit.
I don't know, these 10-year-olds, these 9-year-olds.
Some of them are geniuses.
They are really, really up there. You know, they aren't talking like the 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds I grew up with.
That's right, because they've changed. And we want to make sure we give everyone the opportunity to do that.
Okay, it's very good, very good. As you stated earlier, the schedule for the Boys of Color Rise was 1 hour?
Yes, at each center.
At each center. And what you're doing is, so the 1 hour at this center will be the same 1 hour spent at this center, and the same, because I'm trying to let everybody understand how this is going to work, because they're hearing 5 days a week.
Oh no.
And
it's every day for the week. All 5 centers get the same information.
Same information.
If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, 502-420-8308. You can email me at Boys of Color Rise, all lowercase, one word, BOYSOF, color, COLOR, rise, RISE, at gmail.com.
Okay. And without...
Let me let you hear my son's song. We're going to close out with this today. In about a minute and 27 seconds. This is my son, Stephen Shaw. He did this all by himself.
You gotta be outspoken. You gotta be focused. To build a better tomorrow. The future's golden. You gotta learn to have patience. Everything will come in time. Now young black man rise. Young black man rise. You gotta be outspoken. You gotta be focused. To build a better tomorrow. The future's golden. You gotta learn to have patience. Everything will come in time. Now young black man rise. Young black man rise. I'm optimistic, got a statistic, got a bright future, and I can't risk it. Trying to do right, but it gets tempting. Walk the straight and narrow, but it gets tricky. My community, my motivation, cooperation and communication. Trying to compromise, need organizations. A rough road ahead, trying to build it. You gotta be outspoken. You gotta be focused. To build a better tomorrow. The future's golden. You gotta learn to have patience.
I that's gonna be in my head the whole day.
Every day, all day. Harry, I need to send that to you, man.